Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Madhavan Seshadri. I have my colleague Thulasi here with me. We are from Sedin Technologies. We are an IT services provider as well as a technology products company. We are into data and AI as the foundation. On top of that, we build digital services, CRM, engineering services, and the enterprise asset management for our clients. Enterprise asset management is where we have a product on the mobile solution for enterprise asset management built on top of Maximo. In this session, what we are going to do is, we are going to look at data and AI as the twin engines that drive the manufacturing, digital ecosystem, right? That's our perspective. We think of them as twin engines. We are going to share our perspective based on what we are seeing as the trend, as well as what we understand as our client requirements, and also some of the work that we are doing for them. If you look at the digital ecosystem of manufacturing, it tends to be more complex than other sectors, primarily because of two factors. Because we are dealing with machines, equipment, in addition to the other organizational parameters. Machine and material are the two things that produce a lot of data in our case. So all these, whether you look at man, machine, data, money, all of them produce data, right? And there is a need to orchestrate as well as harmonize this data. If you don't harmonize the data well, then what happens is we lose out as a business, right? In the sense, we will be less agile, we will be less competitive, we will be less responsive to the marketplace. So in order to get over all of that and to get ahead in the business, we have to harmonize the data in the best possible way. That's where I would call upon Thulasi to, Thulasi is a data and AI expert. So he will share our perspective. And towards the end, I'll jump in with a few case studies that we have done for our customers. Thank you.
So, hi everyone. So, how feels everyone? Awake and ready? Yeah, it's going to be a little fast-paced thing we're going to see. And we're going to start with the past, see the current trends and the pain points. Already the panelists spoke about it. And we'll also see how we can learn from it and see where the future is heading and accordingly play our part in this transformation, Industry 5.0. And it starts with the industrial revolution. It's like it eased your physical labor, right? So you have seen a machine doing things. So that's the first fascinating thing we see, right? Suddenly a machine can do something which we have been toiling hard, that kind of eases our physical labor. And I'm going to give a perspective of the current situation with Gen AI. Is the AI revolution is easing your mental labor. Right? So that's a takeaway, right? So you see ChatGPT or even morning Adobe, Guru Vaidya present about content copying. All this is the same template being done again and again. Can we ease it? Okay? How can we do that? With the help of data. So that is one of the major stimulus. If you are going to ease your cognitive labor, how can you do it? How can you train the machines to do it? So you need data. Data collection is needed. And why this is big? Because it generally happens in the industry and then follows to the society. That you all know, right? So this has been the history. So you all would have been part of this journey. Many of you would have been part of this journey. And now when this AI revolution comes, think about some 20 years, 30 years ago, how the mission, the assembly line all came into picture. What were some of the challenges you had? How can you kind of relate it today? So that's an analogy I'm trying to bring today. Say some of the learnings you had 20 years, 30 years ago when people would have protested, strike unions, right? So they would have protested, why are you bringing machines here? Same way some of our coders are protesting, why are you bringing all this automatic co-pilots, right? So you can provide your perspectives, learnings, right? for the current challenges in the shop floor, right? Most of us, we see data, the digitalization. So even the panelists started with automation and the digitalization part. So most of us are aware, right? So even UPI has been there. Money has been digitized, boss. Yeah, right? So the digitalization has been there. But people, especially I see in the industry shop floor, even some of them were asking, are we getting any ROI out of it? It's very tech consuming, adoption is not there. They're not giving me data. So this is my machine I have been operating. They're not giving me this data. They're not getting any ROI out of it, right? What could be a possible solution for this based on, as Madhavan mentioned, some of our clients, when we discuss with them, they say, yeah, we have data. Okay, maybe even in Excel or in some format, they have data, but only when you put it to test, right? It could be a case study, or it could be some kind of, even I would even say GenAI, right? Try GenAI-based natural language questioning on your data, then you will know, oh, I don't have the data. Maybe the data is not in right quality. Maybe the timestamp issues are there, right? So that's what I want to the team to try it out for understanding your current challenges better, right? So that's a great thing, right? So sometimes I used to be angry, and when I found that I am really angry, that was a great step, right? I can work on it, right? Awareness precedes control. So for your data needs, if your data, I would also think about data tithing. Just like in India, the concept of tithing is there, we donate to causes, right? It's only in India, like even organizations are asked to spend like 2% of their money for CSR activities. We understand the way we tithe. So just like some of them answered, I think Shiva answered about data product owner, if you can think of exposing your data, the essence of your data outside. I'll come for the reason behind it, then you will know, right, how much of your data is useful for others. Just like when you put on an event in your house, or just like this event, so much thing needs to happen, right? The whole cleaning happens, right? Then you will know whether our data is useful or not. And then the benefit of it also will follow in the future. Okay, I'm kind of giving you another term for GenAI. It's going to be the general UI, right? So the GUI, people know about GUI, graphical user interface. Like it used to be the mouse, such a great invention, or even when Steve Jobs talked about the great pointing instrument, the finger. So now it's going to be GenAI, and in which it's currently in an infant mode, right? So what do you think an infant can do? He can hear, speak. It's actually very good in hearing. We can see the Whisper model from OpenAI is doing very good in transcription. Some of the videos you see in YouTube, the subtitles come. There are some jargon, some things it misses, but it's very good. So what I want you to see, or even others, they are talking about GenAI is going here to stay. So it's a baby, right? It's in an infant stage, and maybe Tesla and other robotics, they have made it stand also. You have seen some robots making some movements also, right? So it is all there, and the modalities are coming in. So we are going to interact with this. It's going to be happening, right? You are going to deal with some of these humanoid movie kind of situations going to happen in near future, and we are going to interact, get the assistance, and currently, believe it or not, the assistants are there in the forms of modalities, agents. They call it as agents. It's in a software format. You mix that software and hardware, you're going to get it, right? The machine is going to see, even the ChatGPT's O version, it's able to see your max problem and explain. That was the demo they did. So how can you kind of think about it? You can use it in your shop floor, right? And also with the AR and VR capability, you can also have a back-end support from your actual person technicians who can help, right? So this is like a L1 level support, it's going to happen, right? So, and also, what we are going to see in the future, which is already happening, which was the major talk of 4.0, is on connectivity. Like every device is now SIM-enabled. They're going to put chips on our body. I'm not sure. Everybody is GPS tracking. Everything is there. So the connectivity is there, right? So with the help of this connectivity and with the help of this data, can we do some good, right? Can we understand better? Can we learn from some of our failings? Can the industries connect, right? Some of the companies have learned and they have come to a level. This is where the data tithing kind of comes in. The learnings, I have seen this mission from growing here to here. It took some level of difficulty. Boss, you don't have to go through it. I'll give you that kind of learning to you. Can the industry, the circular economy, all this they were talking, can it happen? Can it happen in the future? So that's an idealistic fantasy. But, and also another thing I've been seeing in the tech world is this elasticity. Right? Most of the jargons in the tech world we get from manufacturing industry. And this one really, Amazon Elastic Cloud, heard of it? EC2 mission. Right? If I have to start a software company with some 30 computers, I can instantly start in Amazon, or even Disney Hotstar when the World Cup is going on, right? They span out so many missions. They can scale out and scale down, right? With this elastic load balancers or missions. Can your industry do that? Is it possible? Because not all, it's like sine wave, right? Some industry, they go peak at some time, some industry, they go down. It's like when it's evening, I don't feel like, oh, it's evening, right? That's part of the life, right? Up and down. So some industry will go up at some time. It's like the school opening time. I go to my tailor to stitch clothes. He said, do you really need a cloth now? And this tailor sits with other tailors. So he's able to expand the workforce, right? Can that happen? Can that happen in your assembly line? Can you modularly and also dynamically kind of change your workflow? It's going to happen. If you are really need in demand, right, you should think about a programmatic way of designing your runways, assembly lines, so as to meet the demands, right? That's how the button phone changed to smartphone. What was the reason? Like in the button phone, I can't change the button. In dynamic ways, if I have a smartphone, it has changed it, right? You can have different interface, different UI as per the need. So the fluidity is going to happen, right? So these are our perspectives, may or may not happen, but can you sense something of this is happening in the air? Yeah, I get a nod, right, nice. And also, with this Gen AI being a toddler, and what is the food for Gen AI? Data. Right? Data is going to be the food. So you are going to nourish this child, so to speak. Like, so you can't expect so much return from the child now, but as you invest, but with love, as you invest, it's going to help you in the future, right? So that's the analogy I'm bringing in. And what I see is that this Gen AI is going to help in the strategic positioning, right? It was trained for, say, some of the chess games or Go Alpha games and AlphaGo, right? Go games. It was able to identify a possible route or what you call a move in a chess, or so to speak, which even the best player couldn't find. So this is going to be a game changer when Gen AI comes to that level, wherein some of, even for investment, for other things, which humans can't see that what you call scenario or simulation, it is going to do. So that's what I'm seeing in some of the AI-enabled industry to make more, reduce cost, and improve productivity. It starts from all part of their journey, in the industry journey, being it design, you do simulation using Gen AI or traditional methods. And I also want to bring somewhere some of the points they brought. With the help of this data, can't you do or extend your ERP? Right? Why should you go with the bill of material provided by the ERP? Using the data, can you do some kind of forecasting, production scheduling, optimization involving parameters, which Madhavan will cover at the end with one of our case studies, and predictive maintenance, which has been spoken about, and business process optimization, and AR/VR for some of the defect detection. Okay, so this is where we are going, and just on a last note before I hand over the mic to Madhavan, is that some of the cons as well, right? So data integration is going to be a big problem. How are you going to integrate, make it available, and utilize it properly? And the big ethical implications of jobs. Is my job online? Right? So you have to train and communicate to your people in such a way that we are elevating their human values. They can come to these events, right? With some of this work given to the missions, you can kind of provide a human touch to that, and the bias is part of the data-related bias. If we share the data, the model will be developed based on our data, right? So it will be much more customized, indic in nature, and also on cyber security, Sophos is going to do next, so I'll drop it. Okay, so security measures are a key thing. So this is where I'll give it to Madhavan on how Sedin was able to adapt AI and assist enterprises, right? I'll go to the last slide just on, so these are some of the things I thought of covering, and I'll just leave it to Madhavan to speak on the final topic.
These are some of the use cases based on the situations that we are handling with our customers. Very interesting problems. This area, if you look at it, it's really so exciting in terms of possibilities and what we can do. Right. The first one is for a fabric manufacturer. I think traditionally for the fabric manufacturer, the major issue is any rejection. And typically, the rejection runs at something like 10%. And, if you look at the margins of the industry, that 10%, eats away bulk of the profit. So anything that you can do to, reduce the rejection even by 2% will straight away go to the bottom line. And, we looked at historical data, there are about, 12,000 data points, right? 12,000 data fields. So now we are trying to build a model on which are the ones that are correlated to, reducing the rejection. It could be because of, the color change, color mismatch, or it could be, certain threads not being woven properly, etc., etc. Then the final goal is to put a visual inspection, which is automated. So that way, even the human errors in inspection at the last stage can be eliminated, right? That's one interesting case study. The other one that we are working on is for a windmill company, which has got 160 farms, ranging from 50 to 100 turbines in each of those, totally about 6,000 turbines. They have to give a forecast at 15-minute intervals, right, for the next 24 hours, and they have to do it day after day after day. So if they either oversupply or they undersupply above or below certain threshold, then they get penalized. And they don't get paid anything extra for oversupplying on the grid. In fact, they get penalized. Now the question is, can we accurately forecast? The forecasting that has been done using historical manual models is around 80%. So we are looking at some additional data point. There is historical data available on the maximum wind speed, minimum wind speed, average wind speed, etc. We are also looking at historical met data in terms of precipitation, humidity, etc., to see how we can improve the model. We are seeing some encouraging results. Right, the model has improved from something like 80% forecasting accuracy to about 90, 92%. Our target is to improve it to 94, 95%. And when we look at this kind of model, that can be extended to generally chemical and process industry as well. Well, what are we trying to do? We are trying to produce certain active ingredient with certain level of purity, which is of certain defined quality, and we should be able to produce it consistently. So the first step is to model it, figure out the parameters that can influence the output or the outcome. Then the next step is to see how we feed it back, like someone mentioned, feed it back into the control system so that the whole thing can be automated, right? So the possibilities are endless. One last case study I would call out before I wrap up. Supply chain is a common area of interest for multiple industries: retail, consumer goods, definitely manufacturing. We are working with a supply chain company on, at a simple level, you can look at it as document automation. We are scanning the documents, doing the OCR, but it doesn't stop with that, right? We are building an intelligent document reading system where we would be able to read the document. We would be able to train the system on reading the documents intelligently so that it will be able to extract the key fields. And we have also compared between two, commonly available this Gen AI, ChatGPT, as well as Google AI. What we are finding is, in the case of one, the initial output is very accurate, but we cannot do any tailoring. So in the second model, the accuracy is a little bit less, but we are able to train the model more flexibly. I think the point that I am trying to make is the traditional technology problems of choosing the right technology and crafting the right solution to address the client needs, still that is going to stay with us, right? Open AI is not going to take that away from us, right? Gen AI is not going to take that away from us. So with those things, this area looks very exciting, and we are generally very happy for the progress manufacturing industry has made so far, and a lot of still miles to go. With that, I'll sign off in the interest of time. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.